The Human Loop podcast, powered by Ethereum. Good morning. Welcome to this week's episode of the Human Loop podcast. This is a weekly loop episode, so short, sharp, succinct. I'm going to share with you what I've been reading, some of the key things I've seen and insights in the world of human performance, leadership, and AI out there globally. So just two really main things that have come up that I wanted to talk about. The first one, if you have not caught the Alex Hormozi and Tony Robbins podcast interview, live coaching session, whether you love or hate Alex Hormozi, Tony Robbins, or haven't heard of either of them, I strongly advocate you listen to or watch that episode. It's on Alex Hormozi's podcast and YouTube channel. Really interesting hour and a bit episode where Tony Robbins is effectively coaching Alex Hormozi, and it becomes a therapy session. I've never seen Alex Hormozi really kind of stripped back from his kind of go-to-market sales, go attitude. And one of the key things that Tony Robbins comes back to time and time again, from a leadership and a mindset perspective that I absolutely loved, was this concept of trying to do more good with the skills and the experience you've got. And he used this story about how he wanted to, his heart was touched by how many children in America and people in America went hungry every day. And he wanted this mission, this philanthropic mission of his, as a byproduct of his wealth and his success, was to try and feed a million hungry people, provide 1 million meals. And how it took him a long period of time to be able to do that. And then how in a much shorter period of time, once he'd figured out the process to do that, how to interact and engage with other philanthropists to get them to co-fund meals. He went from, I think it was feeding maybe 10 million people in 10 years to feeding 37 million hungry people globally. So 37 million meals in like the next shorter period of time. I can't remember the exact time, but I want to say like the next 5 years. And I thought that was really interesting because he was talking to Alex Hormozi, who's a really successful business person, and was really asking him and challenging him, but why are you doing this, Alex? You're working hard. Alex Hormozi for me is like probably the poster boy for hustle culture and graft, and you succeed through being smart and working hard. And Tony Robbins really challenged him on his why. And I think that's really, really important when we are thinking about how fast technology is going today, that we are also really focused on putting our why as leaders, our why as family people, our why as employees at the center of how we're leading people. And really digging down to understand what's their why, and challenging people to think about why they do what they do. And it ties in with some research that I read last year that Gen Z, one of the prevalent reasons that you can, or ways you can unlock the next generation's kind of performance and productivity, is ensuring that they are doing work that they deem, and that's important, the language has to be outside in, that they deem is purposeful, meaningful work that matters. And so that Tony Robbins interview with Alex Hormozi, watch it. It's an hour of your time that is well invested, whether you like both of them as personalities. Actually, it's a masterclass for me in Tony Robbins challenging someone on their why and sharing the journey that he's been on in really understanding how to do good at maximum scale with his finite resources and time. So that's one thing I wanted to share. The second thing is Gallup have released a recent study on actually what was happening with employee usage of AI the back end of 2025. And I'm going to read a bit of the report for you here. So they found that daily use of artificial intelligence at work rose from 10% in the third quarter of 2025 to 12% in the fourth quarter. So frequent use, using AI daily or a few times a week, inched up from 23% to 26%, whilst total AI usage was stable at 46%. So what was happening is that AI use in the workforce has pretty much more than doubled in 2025. And the largest gains, interestingly, have come from those employees who are already using AI. So employees who are using AI and have seen the benefits, so this micro localized ROI experiences, micro tasks, use the GPT or a Copilot and have seen some benefits. Once our employees understand there are benefits in their ways of working, they can be more effective, they can be more creative through using AI tools, they then double down. So what does that say? Well, it says to me that some of the conversations that I've had in the last week with chief people officers, HR directors, CEOs and managing directors, as I'm talking to them about their Ethereum pilots or those businesses that have signed up to the wait list to get access to Ethereum when we go fully commercial on the 1st of April, they fall into two camps. One camp is everyone's going to be a bit scared about using AI and what it means and how much it observes and what it's doing with our data, to those other businesses who have really lent into AI education and AI awareness education. So I think it's really important that as businesses and leaders, if you're going to ride the wave and get the productivity increases from using AI in the right way within your organizations, awareness education is the first thing that I see time and time again is where you need to start. Awareness training for your employees of what AI actually is, the part it can play within your organization, within their roles, and exactly what it isn't. And I think we miss out a lot of the time on sharing exactly what something doesn't do or won't do. And when change happens, humans are great. We are fantastic at filling in blanks, filling in voids. So whenever we tell our employees what's going to change and what something can do, if we miss out on but this won't change and this is what it won't do, then they assume that everything is going to change. All the scripts are going to be torn up, their job descriptions are going to completely change, and they might be out of a role. Whereas actually our role as leaders, introducing AI agents, for example, or agentic processes, or even Copilot, like Microsoft Copilot experiments into our organizations, it's really, really important that we think through the comms of this, start with awareness training, and be really clear about what's going to change, what's not going to change, and when we're going to revisit it. It might sound like I'm talking about change management 101, and I am, because it is really, really important that we get this right from the outset, because otherwise you're going to have a lot of people in your organization that are going to be left behind. And we know when we look at like Bruce Tuckman's theory of group development, if you have a group of people that are stuck in the bottom of they're stuck in the bottom of storming, and they're not on board with the way the rest of the organization is going, then your whole organization is stuck in storming, and you're not going to get that lovely performance curve going from norming up to performing. All right. So short, sharp, as I said, two key things I wanted to share. One give, which is listen to that Alex Hormozi, Tony Robbins podcast. It's a fantastic interview. The second one is interesting data coming out from Gallup. I think we're going to see in Q1 an acceleration in AI adoption in people's businesses day to day. On LinkedIn today, there was a recruitment business that I know well in the southwest of England. And one of the directors of that business posted on LinkedIn today that he attended a TRN, the recruitment network, masterclass on AI in the back end of last year has made an agent that's already delivered £30,000 of revenue in like the first 9 weeks it's been operational. So there are these micro ROI things popping up left, right, and centre. And so please do look at your organization, look at where you are on your AI journey. It's important we keep humans in the center of the loop, but it's also important that we make sure we're not getting left behind. That's been the Weekly Loop this week. Tune in next week where I will have a guest interview that we will drop again. Until that time, have a great week.